I'm going to be showing you an AI tech stack which I've been using for the past 13 months to build AI applications or AI solutions or any sort of applications in general. Now this workflow is going to be one, absolutely free, meaning whatever tool that I'm going to talk about in this video, you can actually use it for free. And number two, this framework itself is just very easy to grasp in just 1 or 2 days, and you can actually start building considerable applications. Now let me actually dive straight into the framework itself to show you what's happening. So here I have the entire framework itself along with some additional tools. Let's cover all of them one by one. And starting with the initial approach, which is just to first have a clear vision of what you're trying to build. So you have to have an overall outlook of what you have to achieve with this project. You have to have like the essential components or the essential functionality that your project must achieve. Now you don't have to have the core functions set up already. You can actually figure it out along the way, but you have to have some kind of vision of where this application is going towards. Only then you can actually use this framework. From here, if you do decide to use this framework fully, then you have to start with choosing a route. Whether is it going to be through N8N or no-code tools like these, or whether is it going to be through vibe coding, where you're just talking to the agents and building the application out. Now, both of these don't have any necessary advantages. I am pretty sure that whatever application that you're trying to build, 90% of them can be achieved by either of the routes, so it doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of personal preference and what you would love to do at that specific moment. Now, if you don't know what N8N is, it's actually an open source tool which allows you to build AI agents by just drag and dropping nodes like these and then connecting them to create essential architectures. Now, these nodes might have some input components that you have to set, just like this one or this one, where you would give a system message. And there is all sorts of these meaningful inputs that you have to give in order for the workflow to just run as you would expect it to. If you're new to this is the channel to follow. I am planning to post a lot of tutorials just dedicated to N8N, but of course AI in general as well. And now a lot of people think that N8N is a paid tool. In fact, if I just go to their native site, they do have this pricing column where they say that you have to pay this X amount to actually use their service, but this is to host their module in their premises. But the module itself is an open source module which you can use in your local machine. Let me actually show you how to do that. So you would go to this site right here initially to download Node with npm installed onto it. Now if you download this, now npm will be in your local machine, so you can just do npm install N8N and this will actually download N8N onto your local machine. And then once the download is complete, you would just do N8N or npx N8N and it will actually initialize N8N module itself, and you will get a line something like this which says press O to open in browser, and when you press O, it will actually open your N8N local hosted instance. And here you can create a lot of workflows as I've done right here. This is essentially just the same way of building an application through code, and you would manually see how it works in localhost. It's just that you have this N8N module itself in localhost. So if I just go back to the workflow itself, let me actually explain how the N8N approach works, and then we will get to vibe coding. So firstly, you will have to build the core logic of the application, and this involves all of the functionalities that you would wish to achieve. And if you're just doing the N8N approach, this is how it would look like. There will be multiple functions and multiple nodes connected together, and they will do a set of operations based on the input that it receives. So this is actually an example of Google Sheets engineered agent that I built. So it's not about just writing to Google Sheets or reading from Google Sheets. It's actually a lot more than that, such as visualizing the data of what's happening or doing conditional formatting to have a better clarity of what I'm seeing in the Google Sheets. Anyways, now after this core functionality has been made ready, what you would do is actually connect it to a node called webhook node inside of N8N itself. So what this would essentially do is create a URL which can be used to connect it to any external input that you're receiving. So whatever input that is being received to this node using the webhook URL, that will be passed to the core function, and it will process and give back the data again to this webhook node itself, which will again pass it back to the source from where the request came from. And that source is going to be the custom interface that you're going to build for the application. And to build interfaces, I personally recommend just using Claude or Google Gemini to, create mockups, and then from there you can actually connect it to the webhook node that I was saying. In fact, this UI itself I generated through Gemini, where I just went to the native Gemini app, I explained what I want. I just said that I want it in the yellow tint, and it gave me something like this. So if I just click on the code option in the native app, I'll get the code itself. And then from here, I will actually get the URL from the webhook node and then integrate it over here. So whenever I type in some kind of request over here and hit generate, that input will be received here, which will then be passed on to the core functionality that we have built over here. And then after the operation is complete, we will return a response or a data through the webhook node to the UI itself. So that's how you would integrate UI with n8n. So once that is done, the next thing that you have to worry about is going to be backend. And backend involves authentication, database, and a lot more things. And two of the best sources that actually have generous free tier and have a very small learning curve is Firebase and Supabase. In fact, I've been using Firebase for a lot of my projects to set up authentication, to set up initial databases and storages as well. So let me actually show you a quick example. Now this is Tantrix AI landing site. This is just the landing site that I have for my own agency. And over here, there is a bunch of things that is going on. I have a voice agent, and then I have this schedule architecture review button at the very end. All of this have to record the user interactions that is happening. And to do this, I actually use Firebase. In fact, if I just go to my Firestore database, where I'm actually logging all of the information that I get from each and every single button or the voice agent, where it summarizes the conversation and I can actually have a look through it. And I can also set up authentication. Right now I have Google sign-in enabled and email plus password, but I can actually just hit add new provider and then I can have all of these sign-in options as well. That's how easy it is to just use Firebase. And I actually give this plus a lot more features for free, and their free tier is just very, very generous. In fact, if I just click on this drop down, there is a lot of things that you can actually use here for your backend for the application that you're building. And Supabase is just something similar. It's just a matter of personal preference of what you would want to use, but Firebase and Supabase are just really, really good for starting out and also building out applications on a large scale as well. Now, after you've made sure that your backend is ready and integrated to your UI, which is again connected to the webhook node for the core functionality, now once all of this is ready, you can actually start hosting it to do real world testing. Before you take it to the production stages, I always recommend that you do this. You would have to host it and test if the application is working in all different devices or if there is any bugs that you're finding. Everything has to be made sure before you take it to production. And the best way to do it is to actually host it through Vercel. Now this hosting service is just pretty much legit. It actually pulls the code from GitHub and then it will host it for you. So to actually show you this Tantrix AI example itself, it uses Vercel only for initial hosting. I just had to make sure that it's working in mobile, and I had to make sure that there aren't any bugs. All of the buttons are working and all of the databases is working. Everything has to be made sure, and I did it through Vercel. In fact, this is how the project dashboard looks like, that pulls from the GitHub repository. So if I make a new commit or a new change to this repository, it will just automatically push that to the site that is being deployed currently. And that is how you would build a full-fledged application using n8n route. Now, if I just go to the vibe coding route, it starts right here. You would more often use this only if you just want to say what you're trying to build and the AI agent takes care of the rest. And whenever you're building a project through vibe coding, the first and the foremost thing that you have to make sure is ready is a PRD. This is a short form for product requirements document. It essentially is a document which consists of everything that you want in your application itself. And in order to create this document, I have actually built a custom GPT inside of ChatGPT itself, which is just tailor-made for this. It follows a specific framework to generate PRDs. In fact, I'll show you an example where I'm using this vibe coding PRD architect that I created, where I just use this dictate mode and explain what I want in my application, and it gets the gist of the idea. It asks you a bunch of questions, which again, you can answer in the voice mode. After you make sure that both you and the AI itself is very clear of what is trying to be built, it will give you the final PRD document itself. You would just copy this and then possibly take it to your code editor and paste it there. But before you do that, what I actually recommend is using a tool called Google's AI Studio. If I just go to their home, this is how their dashboard would look like. And inside of this, if I just go to build, this is Google's essential version of Lovable. So here you would paste the PRD that you copied, and there's a bunch of features that they actually give you with buttons. So let me actually select this one, and this is just to say that I'm building a voice agent that can actually search Google for data. Along with the PRD, I'm adding these two buttons. And then if I hit build, it will actually build the project itself. You can actually consider that as an MVP. In fact, I'll show you an example of how I do this. And so yeah, I pasted the PRD along with 2 screenshots of our brand to make sure that the colors are consistent with the UI, along with 4 additional features which I wanted in my application. Now, after giving all of this, Gemini is actually going to think of how to approach this and then it will create all of the code files. It will check for any errors. It's actually going to correct those mistakes and then give me the preview of how it's going to look. I can actually test the features, and if I find any problems, I can again mention it over here. I can also use this annotate app feature to say where the problem is and click add to chat, and then it will pop up over here so that Gemini gets a better understanding and you will have a better version of it the next time it tries to build. Now, once this MVP with the basic functionalities and features enabled, you can actually go ahead and press this download app button, which will download all of these code files together inside of a zip file, which you will later then extract and give it to your code editor. And coming to code editors, what I recommend right now is the recent release of Anti-Gravity, and the main reason being it has a very generous free tier even for premium models such as Claude 4.5 Opus or their native Gemini 3 Pro. If you see around here, I have currently Claude 4.5 thinking enabled, and over here what I would just say is ask for it to go through the code base first and look for any potential mistakes. And if there are mistakes, it will actually find it and tell you that these are the potential mistakes and you have to correct it first. And once you correct all of those, I recommend that you immediately enable version control. That is to create a repository inside of GitHub and push and commit all of the changes that you're making. And to do this, inside of the code editor itself, you have to download GitHub CLI and Git. If you have not done that already, you would just say to Anti-Gravity that I don't have those installed. I'd like to install them first. It is actually going to do it for you in the terminal itself. But if you don't want to do that, you can actually ask the agent that you're using inside of Anti-Gravity to say the instructions, and you can actually install it manually yourself. And this is one crucial step that you have to follow. So just make sure that you're creating a checkpoint after every single bug that you're fixing or every new feature that you're adding to your application, so that whenever the agent messes up or whenever you don't like something, you can actually go back to the previous checkpoint instead of just starting the project from scratch. So yeah, and after this is done, after the UI is also set along with the core functionality, by just following the Google AI Studio plus Anti-Gravity approach, you can actually just set up the backend same way as you would set up through the N800 router as well. So from here, you will set up the backend using Firebase or Superbase, and then you will again host it through Vercel to do real world testing. So that's how these two routes go. Now, apart from this, I have few additional features, and these I have mentioned as must have, but these are actually some of the advantages which you would not want to miss. And this actually starts from Google Cloud Platform. Now, if you're not familiar with cloud platforms in general, they actually give you services that can be run 24/7. And in that aspect, you can actually start a cloud virtual machine where you can host your N810 instance or the private code functionality / features which can be exposed to the UI directly. And Google Cloud itself, they give you $300 worth of credits for free for the first 3 months. In some cases, they do ask for some prepayment, but it is refundable. So essentially, you're not paying for any of the services for the first 3 months while you create an account. Now again, in order for you to learn about creating a VM, it might feel complicated, but all you have to do is just ask the agent that you've been using to build the application itself. Just ask all of the doubts that you have, and it will make sure that it's just very clear, because now it also has the idea of what project that is going on along with the expertise that it already has. Now the next thing is going to be markdown files, and this is something that agents very much love about because they understand a lot more when you give the context in markdown files instead of just plain text. And two of the most important places where you would have to use markdown files are going to be system prompts, which inside of N810 is just going to be a custom box itself. But while you're doing it through code, I recommend that you just create a complete markdown file which the agent can read from. And then for JSON prompts, and what I mean by this is, let's say that you're building an image agent where you're trying to describe the image by elements, and all of these elements can be actually put as a parameter inside of a JSON file, and that JSON file can act as a markdown file typically, so that the agent can understand what's going on to try and generate or manipulate whatever the image that you're trying to give. All you have to just keep in your mind is whenever you're trying to build an image agent or a voice agent, just make sure that you're using the JSON prompting technique when you're talking to Anti-Gravity or Cursor. And the next thing is going to be free LLM API keys. If you're trying to, integrate AI system onto your application, then LLM API keys are practically going to be inevitable. And while during the testing stages, there are some free options that you have available, which is going to cover most of your building process. And the first one, which I recommend most of the time, is just going to be NVIDIA NIM. So if I just go to build.nvidia.com, I will have to create an account initially and then click on get API key. This will create an API key for all of the models that they have available over here. I do have two other options as well. One is Google Gemini's free models such as 2.0 Flash and 1.5 Pro. and you can actually get that in Google AI Studio. You just have to go to get API key and then create an API key. And apart from this, there is Grok Cloud as well. They do have a decent free model tier, so you can just create an account and have an API key just in case. And so yeah, that's about it. This has been the stack that I've been using for the past 13 months, as I said earlier, to build applications of any sort, of any genre. Now I know that there could be some things that I could be missing in the stack, and if you know what that is, and if you'd like me to add that to this stack, just please let me know. I'd love to hear them. Just leave them in the comments below. I will read all of them. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.